Hey, what's up, everyone? Gonna be playing a bit of standard today. Currently, deck of choice still rogues, a little bit boring. Holdover from prior to call time, but I think the deck's still very good, very well positioned right now, and also by far my favorite deck to play. List is pretty stock for the most part. The only thing I'm really doing different than most people is I have these two Valkyries that I actually really like. They're just kind of nice plays. Interacting with creatures, like it's really good against a lot of the green creature decks. You guys have all seen me play this card on my channel a million times now. I think it's been in like 80% of my videos. I'm just a pretty big fan of it. Just rogues is it's good with like the normal game plan of just like getting like your cheap little threats down, like disrupting the opponent's game plan a bit. And Valky fits in well there. But then you also just have these really long grinded games sometimes where you cast multiple into the stories and stuff. Where Tybalt has definitely been pretty relevant for me. So I've really liked it. List is pretty good. I used it to go 5-1 in an SCG qualifier the other day. My friend Peter Ingram went 6-0. I unfortunately had some technical issues trying to play the actual Open, so I didn't really get to see how I would have done, but I still really like the deck. I think it's really well positioned and going to be my current deck of choice to ladder with. So, sorry, 1 second. I got to full screen this. Alright, let's hop into it. Haven't really gotten a chance to play too much. Still on Platinum. I had some issues with my computer, which unfortunately I haven't been able to upload for a few days, but everything should be good going forward. Plan on putting up a video basically every day. Hopefully grind up kind of cool. We finished 5 on ladder last month. That was like my first chance ever attempting to ladder. I'm pretty confident I can get like a double digit to like a single digit finish every time. Doesn't seem too hard to finish in the top 10 if you're actually trying to. Sounds good. Gonna go ahead and keep. The big thing with rogues is the enablers are super important. Like a lot of times you'll have hands of lands and spells that look like they should. So here we have a little bit of a choice where we could Wind Robber to get that going a little faster, or we can Rune Crab. Rune Crab is more relevant if we think we're gonna need to drown a Heartless Act next turn. Wind Robber gets one more damage and mills one more card. So based on the fact that they're Yorion deck, we're going to do this. One other play this is a little bad against, though, would be this card. Just because next turn we're going to want to go Crab, then land. So maybe... I think just based on this double into the story, it's way safer to make sure this Crab gets down. This is also worse against a removal spell, though. That was actually a little bit of a tricky one, I think. Ends up seeming to work out for us. They don't have the removal spell. We're going to get around the ruins here. Yeah, one thing I love about Rogues, it's something I touched on why I love the Arcanist deck in Historic, is I really just love when you have lots of cheap plays where you can basically play any card in your hand at any point in the game, and you really have to think about why you're doing something when you're doing it. As you can see there, it was turn 1 with this deck, and we already had a somewhat relevant decision, honestly. Like who knows, 1 damage could really matter, 1 extra card could really matter, especially with like into the story. Let's just say we get 2 Crab Mills, maybe we didn't get the 1 damage in with this, so then we can't into the story on time. Alright, I think we're playing against the Jabberwocky Sultai deck, the Emergent Ultimatum. Deck's really strong, like it's honestly very good. It should even be like a theoretically okay matchup for us, and I even kind of struggle with it sometimes because it's just very powerful. We have the option of putting Loris into our hand here, or just ensuring we get to do this next turn. I think it's way safer just to set up for the end of the story. Get that going. Yeah, if Rogues isn't your style, like I said, this is definitely my deck of choice for now, but if Rogues isn't your style, this would definitely be one of the decks I recommend. Very good. I've, as a long-time Magic Online grinder, I've done battle against the Jabberwocky several hundred times maybe. Fantastic player, fantastic deck builder, and he's definitely got something good with this. Double counter spell is really nice. Hopefully they don't force us to use it anything this turn. We're going to fire off into Story. We'd love to find like a Soaring Thought Thief. Something that'll let us hold up counters and bolster our clock a little when we get the chance to slide it in. Resolves. Not too worried about them picking up lands at this point. We're going to save the drowns for the irrelevant spells. Like when they start firing down haymakers. Alright. Be a little annoying if this gets force spiked or whatever it is. Drawy, disruption. Okay, not the end of the world. I really don't want that to happen again. I haven't kept up with the list too much in the last couple of days. Like I said, I haven't been able to play because of laptop issues, but I think that's the only counter they play. I don't know how many they play too, but it would be really bad if that happened on our second one. So we're gonna play around getting Drawy disruption again. Don't want to main phase it because we do have these two counters and they really have some punishing plays. They're on 7 mana. Because what this deck does, for those of you who aren't familiar, if they play Emergent Ultimatum, I think their choices are normally they get Vorniclix, the green counters guy with haste. They get Binding of the Old, not Binding of the Old Gods, Thassa's Sea God's Revenge. I think that's the saga, and they get this card. So it gives you some pretty tough choices where if you give them Vorniclix and a Time Walk, you get bashed pretty hard. If you give them Sea God's Revenge or whatever it is, and then the Time Walk, it goes up to 2 immediately. If you give them Vorniclix, and then the Saga goes up to 2 immediately because of his ability. We're going to go ahead and counter this. If we don't draw land, we're going to main phase this. Ooh, we could have double counter up instead. That could be relevant. I guess since we drew that. I was going to main phase it so we could play land and hold this open, but just in case we need 2 counters. I'm going to pass back now. Pretty happy to hit that negate. Didn't know they played that. Also makes me feel way better about this play of not main phasing this. I think I'm just going to sack and let it resolve. These counters are definitely at a premium in this matchup. This is going to replace itself. The Crab's already done its job. They're Yorion deck. We're not milling them out with Crab. Our enablers, it already worked as an enabler to turn this stuff on. We have lots of flash threats too, and we're going to pick up a bunch of cards, so I'm just going to let this happen. Like I said, these counters are really at a premium here. Our clock isn't so insane. I'm not trying to waste them on an extinction event that isn't particularly backbreaking. Bad if this ends up getting countered. Okay, that gets through. Fortunately, don't pick up any threats. Sort of rough. How many do we have in hand? We have 9 in hand. Yeah, that wasn't the best, but go ahead and get this down. Probably pitch a Fabled Passage. Alright, we'll keep that one. Don't want to bring Glorious back yet. We have to discard anyway. Perfectly fine with just keeping up these counters for now. They're running out of cards too, which is nice at least. Or at least we got him down to a little bit. Alright, we can't let that resolve. That'll catch him right back up. Fire off the more expensive one. with 25 cards in yard. This one's pretty unconditional. Cure Best of Sea Guys, that's the name. I kept saying it wrong. Sea Guys Revenge, I think, is like a bounce spell. I kind of knew I was wrong, but I didn't know the right name. Yeah, can't let that one resolve. Pretty rough, though, now. We open ourselves up to Emergent Ultimatum next turn. But, yeah, we're not going to beat this. Yeah. Alright. Next turn, yeah, we're just going to put this Lurrus into our hand and pass. Hopefully they just go for like Yorion or something. We can Essence Scatter, Soaring Thought Thief, get the Lurrus down, get another creature back into play. The Wind Robber. That would put 7 power into play. Have them on a nice little 2-turn clock. Yeah. That sucks. Can they do it this turn? No, they need a land. Do they have it? One nice thing too is this cast it, so we will be able to Essence Scatter the creature off it at least. Okay, they have the land. Alright. Resolves. Alright, so we select the one they don't cast, right? Opponent chooses one of those cards, shuffle that card into your library, you cast the other cards, alright. So we're going to give them the creature and... what should we give them? Let's see what they get before we think too hard about it. They already used the time lock, alright. Valky, we have an answer to this, but they will get to use it once. Time walk, I really don't want them time walking into Yorion. Maybe that's not that bad. Maybe we just don't give them this. Yeah, oh yeah, we have the Essence Scatter now. Yeah, we're just not going to give them the Valky. Because if we give them Valky, they get to cast Tibalt. That's how it works. Yeah, this is fine. They can exile our yard. I'm not too worried about it. Alright, fortunately they'd already used the Saga and... ooh, they stacked that wrong, too. Unfortunate for them. I've been talking too much. Using my timeouts. The Essence Scatter. Kind of rough for them that they exiled their tokens. Yeah, fortunately we had already run them out a bunch of stuff. They'd already used their, I think the Saga, they only play one. I think that's their second time walk too. I'm pretty sure they only play 2 of those. Alright. Unfortunately, the Shadow's Verdict hit our yard, so we're still probably going to play the Lurrus, just clock. Because 11 will have 5/9 power in play. Not quite lethal. Play the Lurrus. Soaring Thought Thief is lethal, assuming they don't have anything. Because we'd have, they go to 11 here, then we'll have 2, 5, 9 in play. Then a Soaring Thought Thief would be an extra 2 for the 2 rogues we'll have in play. Could hold the Lurrus, because while this card's probably nothing, they do have this Omen they're going to crack here. Give them a couple looks. I think they probably only play like 1 Shadow's Verdict though. Extinction Event. If they hit odd, they would hit these 2. We'd still have this in play at least. But if we don't use the Lurrus and we just pass, we'll put them down to 11 here. We Thieves Guild Enforcer end of turn. We'd have 7. Still 2 turns. It might be a little safer. Because this probably doesn't change the clock anyway. But then you got to think about a removal spell though, just like a singular one. We milled this too. I didn't even... That makes sense. I was kind of wondering why they didn't get it. Why they would get this. Opponent disconnected or something? Hopefully it's not me. I always get worried about that with Arena. Done like 9 timeouts in a row. Would be an unfortunate conclusion to this game if they get like disconnected or something. I'm gonna play the worst. Seems like our opponent isn't there. Kind of, like I said. Was a really good game up until this point. Bit of an anticlimactic conclusion. Definitely got a good idea how the matchup goes. They have a lot of redundancy up top. So even with a couple counter spells, you're still going to have to... It's still definitely a real game. They have disruption too to slow us down. The matchup's close. I think overall, I like Rogues and post board. It gets pretty good for us. Just being able to load up on more counters is nice. They get some more disruption, some escape stuff generally, but for the most part, I like the matchup for Rogues. But again, definitely a close matchup, and this is one of the strongest decks. Highly recommend it if Rogues isn't your style. Definitely on the short list of decks I would consider playing. Alright, yeah, so looks like opponent disconnected there, but we'll take it. Hop in the queue again. Hopefully get to finish the match this time. Win the die roll. Hand seems great. Like I said, big thing with Rogues is just you want to have your enablers on payoffs. Like it is a little bit of synergy-based deck. Sort of similar to like if you've watched my videos on Arcanist, I say sort of a similar thing where you definitely have some cards that are on the weaker end, like individual power-wise, so you gotta make sure they're kind of clicking together with your other cards, but again, this hand's great, so. Gonna lead on the Temple. Don't particularly care about running out. Do we want to keep that? We have a Crab, double Fatal Passage, gives us the 4th land for this. I'll actually keep it. Opponent's a big-time Rakdos Mage. They got the sleeves, they got the Avatar. They're committed. No psych out here with the Temple. Alright. This will be an interesting matchup to play out. I've played a lot of these matchups. I don't hate them as much as you think I would for the Rogue side. I've been struggling a little to find a plan I really like. I shouldn't have. Alright, should have waited. I cracked there in case of a removal spell in response. I should have waited. And a lot of them don't play Shade main deck. I should have thought about that. Alright, won't do that again. So the plan I've generally found best is I actually like leaning into like the crabs and the mill stuff and sort of just overwhelming them. Because like if you just force them to croaks every turn and stuff, you can kind of win through that. And you definitely threaten to mill them. Like if you just build up enough cards in the yard and they're playing croaks every turn, you can kind of deal with it easy enough because you're going to get ahead on cards with like Into the Story. So that's actually the plan I'll test. I've gone back and forth on plans, but that's the plan we're going to test out post board in this matchup, and we'll see how it works. We're also, we'll depend on the rest of their deck. They seem a little more mid-rangey with like top end like this and stuff, which makes that plan a little bit better, I think. Trying to take advantage of like mana advantage. Favorable mana exchanges, essentially. So we're basically plan here is we're just going to try and mill them and control the game. Like we'll counter the Croxa here, assuming that's what they do. Take 3, untap Into the Story. Got plenty of time before we're dead to this, so I think don't hate our spot. We already got him down to 24 after we cracked this, so just 4 more land drops. It's going to take 5 attacks. And we're going to be drawing into plenty of stuff. Alright, if they just Croxa here, not a big deal. Probably pitch the Thought Thief. We can just Blood Chief's Thirst it. Yeah, I don't think the Thought Thief changes the clock in a major way, so they're going to go to... they'll go to 11 cards, 10 after they draw. Yeah, it shouldn't change much. We'd only be able to get 1 attack in anyway, which wouldn't actually change our clock with land drops. Wonder if they're going to Goldspan Dragon here. They can Goldspan Dragon into Shade. Still wouldn't be the worst. We just deal with it with this, then play like this. Croxa with like, yeah, removal spell would be a little annoying, but alright. Getting a little scary here, but we're going to take it, go down to 7. Alright. As expected. Now what do we want to do? Alright, so they have 16 cards left. So yeah, right. So we play land, they go to 10, they draw, they go to 9. If we play the Thought Thief, attack down to 7. Play land down to 1. Yeah, it doesn't change it. Maybe 12, 14, 15, 16, yeah. How do we want to do this? Thinking this and then just leave up these. Just plays around like Embercleave best, second Goldspan Dragon. Is sort of where I was at. That's why I prefer this play. Big thing, how many Bone Crushers have we milled? In case we go to 1. Alright, so they're Bone Crushing now. I guess that resolves. We go to 5. I guess we'll throw on a block. It's getting a little dicey. Maybe I should have countered that. I'm just a little worried about what, like how many Embercleaves do they have? This is where if this was a tournament open deck list would be really nice. So that's 3 dragons. I don't know how many they play. If they have 4. Looks like they're thinking about an Embercleave here, which would actually work out really well for us. Especially if they went to put it on this one, that would be great. Alright, seems like they definitely have Cleave. Not sure if they're going to use it, but definitely validates my decision, how we played this at least. Three Bone Crushers. Hopefully they don't have the 4th. We're not going to play around that. That one's fine. Guess they'll get this down. They gotta stomp. That sucks. Seems like they have it. Yeah, alright. Alright, yeah, we weren't going to beat that anyway. Tough game. Definitely one I'm interested in watching back. I feel like I should have been able to win there. I think I tripped up a little at the end. Alright, so like I said, the plan I'm going to try is I'm going to try leaving the crabs. I've had some success with it. I kind of like it. Alright, so 4 cards in. I normally board out like 2 of these. Board out this. Try something like this. There's one matchup I'm still working at. Most of my matchups I'm pretty happy with my plans. This is a little bit of a trickier one. Been messing around with stuff to do, but originally I wasn't like keeping the crabs in. Was kind of going off the mill package a lot. I was boarding shades. That's definitely something I recommend trying. But I think I've had a little bit more success with this plan. Let's see if it works out for us. It'd be nice if we could steal both post-board games. Game 1's normally better for us, so that was a little rough losing that. Like I said, I think I messed up. Alright, mulligan. Never actually getting to fire off or into the story was a little annoying. Maybe there was a turn I could have done that too. Just like let something happen. I maybe used the earlier Fabled passages aggressively too. Yeah, like honestly I messed up on turn 1. I wasn't thinking about shade. A lot of times they only board shade. So we let them just get a free play on turn 2. That was really bad. I also maybe used those Fabled passages a little aggressively early. I could have played other lands that would have made the Fabled passages better for when we drew the second crab. So honestly, probably not the cleanest played game on my part, and I think we would have won with a little bit crisper play, but it happens. Here we have some options. Probably not leaving up scatter. Trying to think if I want to fire off the of one mind or put the Loris into my hand. I think I might just Loris, because we have actually a lot of things to turn this on, including Loris. So I wouldn't mind just getting this into my hand now. Then this ends up so much better if we get the discount at a later point. If we draw a crab or a wind robber, we get to do that, still leave up 2 mana for something like Essence Scatter. Unlike Immersturm Predator, which would come down on 4. Alright, it's annoying, but our hand's not the worst against it. They'll probably leave the Into Stories a little annoying too if we mill like an escape card and they can keep us off it for a bit, but we'll try to play around all that to the best we can. Yeah, that's what I figured. If I was in, that's what I would take. A little obviously hand dependent too. I guess we pitch one of these. They have this, so it's going to be a little difficult to get the timing right. 1 should hopefully be enough to pull us ahead anyway. Yeah, just attack here. Plays are a little limited. Maybe I should have fired off the of one mind on the next turn. Last turn. Obviously would have worked out better in hindsight. I might look to get a second mind control in the board too, as this matchup picks up. Fantastic against Croxa. Would have let us lean out of the crab game a bit too, because then we'd have more of a real game plan against it, which may be stronger. Too risky to run this out into like stomp. What unfortunate we're heavily on the losing end of this race, but can't really make a move. Take 3. What's up? They play Egon here. I've never really seen the front half of this card. I always have it cast in the back half. Trying to think if it's better to just use this while you have the mana down. Like, this lines up better against like Kroxa. But with Heartless Act, we're not forced to have the mana up. So which one? Leaning towards. Alright, so let's put some at 5 cards in yard. 6. Damn. I'm gonna Heartless Act it. This just lines up better against like Kroxa, Immerstern Predator, Goldspan Dragon. It's a little annoying that we have to keep the mana up. But sorry, I messed up. I didn't realize it was clicking until end of turn. Oops. I guess it's not even the worst play. It's maybe even a good play, because I'm going to let this trigger happen. It's going to eat 2 cards out of the yard, because if I killed it there, it'd put them to 5 cards, they crack this land, it puts them to 6, and they get to Kroxa. So this oddly works out better, even though I didn't really consider why. Just not going to claim it was a good play on my part still, but ends up actually working out. I think accidentally make the right play. It definitely happens sometimes. If I had a land, I wouldn't even hate blocking here, because then we get to Luris, bring this back, and leave open like Drown for Stomp, or Essence Scatter for a bigger creature. I'm going to take this one more time, but next turn if we brick, I'm probably going to block. Can afford to go a little bit lower too, because our plan here is to actually stick to Luris, and if we do, it'll recoup some of the life. Get us out of range of like, Goldspan Dragon, Kroxa hits. Okay, that's a decent pickup for us. We're gonna attack for. Alright, we're gonna attack for 1 here. We're gonna end up going down to 5. We're gonna end the turn and force her then into the story, just to not let them do any Kroxa stuff on their turn or anything else we mill. Trying to think what their hand is. I'm definitely like 1 removal spell. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Bone Crusher. I know we have the Luris, so that Well, they'd like to get in play, they would still probably sit on it. Trying to think what we do if they bone crush in response to our enforcer, because then we wouldn't get them to 7. We could drown it and untap into the story. Probably what we'd end up having to need to do. All right, we go to 5. We're gonna crack the lands before we play Enforcer 2 to play around Cling to Dust. If we milled Cling and we crack, they'd be able to nuke their yard before we get into the story. So, something to be mindful of. Probably should have got a swamp there. I was thinking I want an extra blue for the low mage dominations, but alright. Kind of nice. The only relevant graveyard card is still this. Hopefully we hit like a Cling. Okay, not quite, but a lot of good stuff there. Attack them down to 10 here. Hopefully the play next turn is just this. We counter it. We can even throw the crab in front to block because they're just going to lure us. Should, between the crab and if we draw any road, we should be able to keep them on threshold or whatever you want to call it for the enforcers. Put them on a pretty quick clock. Yeah, plenty of cheap interaction here. Had very slow playing opponents today. I guess I'm lower on time, but I'm narrating all my plays. Do I care about that? I can always just kill this if I need to, so there's no point in really countering it. I probably end up... I am probably going to fire that off in the shade now. Going to 2 is a little dicey against the Bone Crusher deck. See what they do, though. But if their whole turn is Croak's Shade, that's not bad for us at all. We'll put them down to 7 cards. Yeah, it's not bad. Gonna go with the Drown on the Croxa, I think. It's a little bit better because next turn, if they Croaks again, these will start getting a little conditional. Would be nice to let that go through, but just way too risky. So. Shade's fine. So we're gonna go down to 8 cards here. I have to exile the 5, so these will still even be on. We're gonna Loris Crab too. Hopefully, yeah, I like using the drown here. What are you thinking about? You have literally 0 plays. They're just doing some thinking. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. If we play it, we're kind of forced into minusing though, which wouldn't be the worst. I think I don't like doing it though. I think it's a little bit safer to. You can always set it up for the next turn, like if we need it. But I think I like Loris Crab, Bleed Open, Drown, Essence Scatter. Seems way better. We can't quite do that, but we can only leave open 1. Alright, nothing relevant. Super nice for us. For the block here, if they go for like an Ember Cleave, we can just drown. If they go for Croxa, Goldspan Dragon, counter. Croxa I'd even maybe like resolve this the Essence Scatter. Just because they'd have extra mana to do stuff still on the turn. Rather just play around any of that. We went through Croxa. Alright, looking pretty good for us. Gonna block with the crab. Okay. Should just be dead. All right, game 3. Trying to think if I want to do anything different. They have a lot of top end. If we're on the meal plan already, didn't say please is maybe a little appealing. Trying to think over what. Part of me even just like wants to go no thought thieves like this. The best thing this card has going for it is it doesn't get bone crushed, but I feel like it's just not on what I'm trying to do here. You really just want those favorable mana exchanges while just like out carding them. The pressure, you either just mill them or you sort of just like turn the corner once you're like way up on cards and like you're just acting so more efficient. Like your plays are so much more efficient than they are, and you sort of just pull ahead that way. I'm going to try this. Like I said, this is one matchup I'm really still hashing out plans still. I mean, I recommend trying your own stuff, but let's see how this stuff works. So definitely recommend that too if you're ever unsure in a matchup. Just keep trying different things. Just make sure your plays are like reasoned is what I would say. Don't just try things for the sake of trying them. Really try and like work out the logic behind why you're doing it. In the long run too, that's going to make you way better at sideboarding, just a way better Magic player too. Definitely develop your sort of critical thinking skills and your ability to develop comprehensive game plans and identify roles and matchups. All sort of stems from that same core. His hand's not bad. Well, could be a little clunky, but sort of like what we have going on. This card's pretty strong in this matchup. We'll need to like get to 5 lands to be able to do the Croxa, because based on where our hand is, very unlikely we're going to get them to have enough cards where they still have 8 cards after Croxing, 13 cards in your yard or whatever it takes. Okay. Alright, here we go. Big clock. Nice Scryland. Always interesting when they keep on top. Like in this situation, like it probably means it's a graveyard card, right? Like what else would they know it's just gonna get knocked. I don't think we ever don't attack, but could definitely be annoying. Alright. Let's see. Alright, it wasn't. Not to like disrespect on anyone on ladder too, but it's a little consideration I had too, where maybe against like an absolute pro level player, I would maybe consider not attacking because they would literally probably never leave a card that isn't benefit from being in the yard, but it's that's a little hypocritical though, because I do actually have even said in videos before I very much try to always even in like ladder matches I always try to give my opponent credit for making optimal plays, because I think it's just going to make you a better long run and it's going to make you a better player in the long run, because those are the things you should be thinking about in the plays you're looking to make. But Okay, not a huge deal. A Bone Crusher here will probably just go for a Blood Chief's Thirst. Alright, gonna go for a Blood Chief's Thirst. Pitch the Awakening, I guess. Attack them. Yeah, they still don't have. They still only put 4 or 5 cards in yard, so even if we mill something good, they're not quite able to use it yet. Alright, a little annoying, but. Just attack, because if we do, most of their cards, like again, the majority of their cards aren't actually Graveyard Matters cards, and getting to 8 cards would be pretty nice if we managed to do it without hitting anything relevant to turn on Luris, Wind Robber, and the Low Mage Domination. 5, 7. Alright, we can only put them to 7 cards here, so unfortunately can't nab this. I'm a little interested in Valkying here. Just in case this is something rough. Doesn't seem like it, but it could be like another Bone Crusher. Alright, it's a land. Also relevant to know, though. It would be nice to have them miss on something here. Okay, that's good for us. If we block here, we can maybe make them waste their turn, like bringing it back with full kicker. But otherwise, I can just do this anyway. Block here soaks up a bit more damage. I think it's good to just force them to use the land. Like, they do have to run out at some point. We can afford to go to 6. We're going to put them to 8 cards on our turn with this attack. So to bring this back, go down to 5. Put them to 7, put them to 8. We can domination one of the shades, or we can also Luris, Wind Robber. Probably gonna go with this first, cause okay. Alright, we really just need to dodge milling them on something relevant here. Played a shade from hand, interesting. Could take the Bone Crusher, go to 4. Kinda like taking a shade though. Wind Robber, block. Sack, even if they bring back the shade pre-combat, which would be really nice for us because we're going to kill the other one. Then we can enforce their sack. Do we want to attack with this enforcer? If we're going to do that, we should probably figure that out first. We attack with this enforcer. We still have 2 blockers for these. Nah, I'm going to... I think this is looking good for us. I'm going to wait a little bit longer. X equals 2. Play a little safe here, although we really don't want to give them too much time because we really don't want to be milling like Croaks or anything. Milling like an ox would be terrible. Okay. Not the worst. Be really nice to draw land. We could steal it. How much will I have? 8, 11. Trying to think if I want to trade for a shade. Alright, really nice that we've managed to not mill anything too relevant. Yeah, kind of like just we'll play for a little bit of a longer game now. We've managed to not, like I said, mill anything relevant, which sort of gives us this luxury. We'll still have a decent clock. I'd rather not go to 3. They'll be able to, they can get 1 shade back here, but that's not that big a deal. Alright, we hit the land. If we just domination the dragon, we are dead to like another one or an Embercleave off the top. Not sure if we want to play around that. So we attack for 5 here, they go to 11. We could just like Loris, Wind Robber, dead to Embercleave anyway. Wouldn't be dead to Goldspan Dragon. Would be dead to Shatter Skull Smashing. 11, 9. I think I'm just going to take the dragon. It's like basically just Embercleave we're dead to. Yeah, I can't think of what else those 3. Oh yeah, another dragon. Yeah, I thought about that too. I said that before. Yeah, it's another dragon would be the best reason to Luris. It's the most common play. It actually, we wouldn't be in the worst position. But we'd actually have to trade our Luris too. So no. This play's the best. Hopefully we just don't die. They like brick on like any weaker spell that isn't a land here. It's like massive for us. Croakso would be really bad. Yeah, we would lose the Croakso. Didn't think about that till just now. 2, 4. That's interesting. I guess they knew we had Loris though. Is that better than just Tybolting? If they Tibble, yeah, I guess we just kill it and their plays aren't even that great. This maybe works out a little bit better for them. They turn this into Loris. What are their 2 drops? Play Shade here. They can Valky, Shade. Alright, good draw. What do we do with it? So we hit their Loris. We attack with just Shade. Actually, no. Alright, so we hit their Loris. We play our Loris, and then, yeah, because we'll have enough because the dragon. Alright. Alright, so we attack for 9 here, then we're going to Loris, Wind Robber. Yeah, that's the best play. Alright, we're dead to Croxa, we're dead to Goldspan Dragon, we're dead to Embercleave. We're not clear. We're dead to Stomp, removal spell. Yep. I feel like I played bad. Like, honestly, the whole match. A little rough to lose. I feel like I had to have played bad. I'm actually going to watch this one back. Alright, the matchup's really close. I really don't like the way I played there. Gonna keep messing around with plans too, but definitely one of your tougher matchups is Rogues for very obvious reasons. That being said, it's still really close, as you guys can see. So I think if your toughest matchup is that close, definitely would have won it with tighter play, honestly. A little rough to lose that way, but gonna go back and watch it. Gonna keep working on my plans for this matchup. Even willing to tweak the list because I like all my other matchups. So if we have to make a couple more concessions to beating this deck, I'm more than happy to do it as it picks up. I also think the ramp decks are really good, and they kind of crush that deck. So I'm kind of hoping the ramp decks pick up, which, as you saw, are a decent matchup for us, and they'll kind of push out the Rakdos decks a bit more as things go forward. I really like Rogue's position in the metagame going forward, honestly, like for those reasons. I think you have game against everything. It's very malleable. You can customize it to the matchups. I think the way the metagame is progressing, it's only going to get better and better for the next couple of weeks. So if you're a fan of the deck, I highly recommend picking it up. Definitely test it out. Gonna keep posting my list before the SCGs on my updated list and sideboard guide. I did that last week. Like I said, me and my friend were able to go 5-1 and 6-0 in the qualifiers. Like I said, I unfortunately didn't get to finish out the event because of technical difficulties. But definitely keep an eye out if you plan on playing those events. I'm always going to post my list and my sideboard guide on my Patreon there. I'll link it in the description. So yeah, my next video will probably be with Rogues too. I normally like to do 3 matches, but this one's like an hour and 10 minutes already. So just going to keep it at 2 for this one. The matches went a little long. My next video I'll probably do Rogues too. So keep an eye out for that. Should be the day after you see this. So thanks for watching, everyone. Like I said, sorry about the delay in uploads. I might have to get a new computer. Hopefully the quality's been a bit better. This computer's a little bit better than my old one. So messing around with settings still, so let me know how the recording settings are. I also don't have, I'm at my girlfriend's right now, so I don't have the new mic I got, but keep an eye out for better audio coming soon. So thanks for watching, everyone.